Hi, I'm Rachel Lewis, founder of the We Network, and this is the Women of We series where we interview New Zealand women in business who are growing businesses that they love and give them the time to live the life of their dreams and also have a little bit of fun along the way. So if you are a New Zealand woman in business and you struggle with a little bit of overwhelm and perhaps lack of focus in your business, this interview could be a great one to watch for you because I'm interviewing my sister, Janine from Get It Done Mum. And she is what I like to call a master of juggling many balls because she has grown her business over the last few years as she's raised her children in limited time, and she really has focused on growing a sustainable long-term business model. So welcome, Janine. Really great to have you.
Pleasure to be here.
So I wanted to kick off today, Janine. I keep going to call you Bob. That's my Janine's nickname. So if I accidentally call her Bob, you guys know who I'm talking about. I wanted to start today by just asking you what led you to starting Get It Done Mum, which is effectively an online business.
Yeah, so I was really inspired back when I was living in London overseas doing my OE and things. I came across this woman who was an online entrepreneur, and I was inspired to go along to one of her events because I was thinking about starting up my own business. I think, tired of working for other people and wanting to do my own thing. I'm definitely the entrepreneur personality type like you, Rachel. And if you call me Bob, I might call you Zilda, so watch out. So yeah, I went to this event and I did, like I say, I'm that big picture person. Within a few hours of going to that event, I could see the potential that that the internet and the online space has for creating freedom, whether that's freedom to travel or freedom to spend more time with your children and work less or whatever that looks like for you. But I could definitely see the potential and I was really excited and inspired by it. But I really didn't have a clue about how to translate that to what, a profitable business for myself. And so that's been the journey. I was on my own back in those days, but then I realized I didn't want to be doing this on my own. And I invited my great friend, Joe, to come into the business with me. And we've been doing it together from the beginning. I can still remember those early days. We went to a cafe and somewhere like in England somewhere, and we met up and had this really creative session about what we were going to create. And it's really cool when you think back to that now, because that's what we're doing with our clients and our programs. And so those early days that we were doing that, and it's so exciting. And then you have all those ups and downs, those troughs along the way that you've got to get through, which can be really challenging. And we're talking about overwhelm today can also be really overwhelming, but it's also incredibly exciting.
Yeah. And actually one thing that I love is that, we've both been really interested in the online space for a long time, and particularly in those early years, there was so much skepticism around being able to grow a business online. And over the last, particularly, I'd say 3 or 4 years, it's just become a kind of, hang on a minute, we can do this and we can make money from doing this. And this is kind of a perfect option for women who are wanting to build a business alongside bringing up their family.
Yeah, and I think mindset comes up a lot, with our mums, and I know it comes up a lot in your community, Rach, around that sort of feeling okay about selling yourself online, about putting yourself out there online, because I think we're not only overcoming our, perhaps our deeper fears about marketing and putting ourselves out there and putting our dreams out there, but also that skepticism that we have, that inbuilt skepticism that we have. Like you were talking about, that you can't trust people, or that it's online marketing stuff is a scam or whatever. So you've got to overcome all that stuff if you really want to make your business work online. But it's definitely, as you say, it's just becoming more and more kind of normal, I guess, to be using the online space, and almost crazy not to have an online strategy. Whether you're a bricks and mortar business or you're completely online, you've got to be doing something online if you want to reach people and stand out.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about Get It Done Mum, because I know a lot of you mums out there are, or if you're a mum and you're watching this, a lot of you are probably thinking about ways to grow an online business, or even just maybe struggling to sort of come to grips with how to actually get your business off the ground. And you've had your business idea and you're starting to tell people about it, but maybe it's not flourishing as quickly as you would have liked it to, or maybe you just like to grow your audience more. I'd like to hear about Get It Done Mum and how you're really focusing on helping people in that niche to take your business to the next level.
Well, it was interesting when we were starting out, we were starting to learn, and what we found was we didn't find the online learning or the business planning stuff very accessible. And it was all a bit boring as well, go and write a business plan and you'd have these awful templates. My battery's just getting a bit low, Rach. I'm gonna move spots. But yeah, so we found it a bit boring. We actually thought as trainers and coaches ourselves, we thought we can do a better job of this. And we were really interested in teaching and coaching others along the way as well. So we've kind of shared our journey with our clients in many ways. And that's how Get It Done Mum started. But when we first started, we were Love Your Small Business. That was our first name. And then we niched down to working with mums. And that was sort of inspired by me becoming a mum, but also us, researching our niche, just like we teach our clients to, narrowing our niche and discovering just how many mums that there were out there doing exactly what you were talking about, starting out their businesses and jumping into the online space. And it's almost a movement, it's a really exciting thing. And we thought, well, hey, let's jump on board with that and focus specifically on mums, because you do have there's overwhelm and then there's overwhelm as a mum. And I think they're two quite different beasts. You're just juggling so much more when you're a mum. So that's what we do in our programs is just, we step people through the process of building a business right from the beginning to coming up with your idea but also looking at that deeper level purpose and stuff. Why is it that you're doing this? What is your vision? What is the life that you want to create for you and your family? And then how do you get a really smart strategy in place that you can actually implement part-time without going nuts, basically?
Yeah. And I've had, when I lived in Sydney after I left Kiwi Oz, I spent a lot of time talking with you about those things and working through, I guess, a lot of mindset roadblocks that I had in place around where I was on my own business journey and what I could possibly do next. And I think that's a big part of it for a lot of women in business. I guess sometimes when you're feeling like you're hitting roadblocks that you don't know how to overcome, I feel like you get a bit insular. And it just feels so hard. You just start thinking about giving up and you just feel like you're stuck in this place. And one of the things I think is really amazing about the online business world now is that you can, with programs like yours, you've always got someone to reach out to during those moments. And often it's someone who's more experienced than you who can just kind of say, hang on, no, this isn't a massive thing. You can overcome this mindset problem or this roadblock that you're experiencing by doing this and this. And it's just that sigh of relief that, hang on, I'm not sort of on my own with this, but also just because I feel like I'm stuck and there's no way to move forward doesn't mean that's right. There's someone out there that can help me do that.
Yeah, and you did right, and I think we do tend to turn inwards when things start going wrong, and that's where networks like yours are really important as well. Like, people are sharing their stories in there all the time, really normalising that all these things do happen, and they happen not just to you but to a lot of other people, and that when you do actually put it out there, when you're courageous enough to actually share what's going on for you, people will jump on board and support you, particularly in networks like yours or ours, where the mums are really supportive of each other and everyone's working together towards the same goal. So I do think the mindset stuff is huge. I also think, well, what I've noticed is that I think mums tend to lose a bit of confidence as well. Like, before you have children, your focus is your life, and then you have these kids and everything changes, and all of a sudden you go, well, everything I've been taught about work, I think we're kind of socially conditioned to think that we can do it all. And we're socially conditioned to think that, it's a great thing to work really, really hard and make lots of money. But I think there's a bit of a shift happening, and that many women are realising that those aren't the things that they value the most, but we still need to provide an income for a family. So how do we create a win-win out of that? And that's where the online marketing comes in and the online business comes in, because it just gives you this amazing opportunity to be able to work part-time and still make money and be able to spend more time with your kids and also be able to look after yourself a bit better.
Hey, Jenny has just asked, are you bringing back your podcast at some stage, Janine? They're great to listen to whilst working. And so answer me that. Are you bringing them back? And then I've got a good question to follow on with that.
Yes, well, I think I lied when I paused the podcast. I said we'll be back in a few months, but I keep putting it off because it's exactly what what we teach, which is, for us, it's being super smart about the one or two things that you're focusing on in your business. And I really want to bring the podcast back, and I've got big dreams which I haven't even told Jo about yet, because she'll go roll her eyes and go, oh my God, here we go. But yes, definitely we will be bringing it back, but it's not going to happen in the next couple of months, that's for sure. I'm not actually sure when it's going to happen, when it feels right, but thank you for the feedback on it. That's amazing.
I know there's quite a few people that pop up in our community asking when that's going to start again as well, so no pressure. But what I did want to know is, you just mentioned focusing on, one or two things, but in terms of your business, what have you found has been one of the things that has helped you drive growth in your business, or what's been the best thing to help you drive growth in your business?
I think probably for us, it's choosing a marketing strategy that we feel great about. And I've just been talking about this, I think it was in an email I sent out on the weekend to our community. Just, we love, like I said earlier, we love training, we love coaching. So we chose webinars, and we've been doing webinars, interviews, that kind of thing, right from the beginning of our business, even in the early days. I remember when we got our first 200 email subscribers, we had hosted this tele summit. And looking back now, it was crazy. It was so much work. We had no idea what we were doing. We'd bought this tele summit sort of, digital product, and we were learning from that, and we were in the cupboard recording things because we didn't have very good technology, and there was all this background noise, but that's how we got our first 200 subscribers. But we interviewed about 12 guests. It was so much work for 200 subscribers, and but the beauty of the online stuff is that you can repurpose things, and those resources we still refer back to clients to sometimes now because the interviews are really good. So yeah, I think that's probably the biggest one for us, has been making sure that the marketing side of it is something that we enjoy. And I think there's always going to be parts of the marketing that you don't feel as comfortable with, or is out of your comfort zone, or you just don't enjoy. Like for example, Facebook ads are crucial to a lot of people's marketing strategies at the moment. So you either have to decide to DIY it, and you might quite enjoy that, but if you hate it, then you might be looking at getting people on board to help you.
So what about with video, because that's a really hot topic at the moment. So what if, you know that everyone's talking about expanding your reach using video in your business. What would you say to those people who just don't really feel that comfortable putting themselves out there live on Facebook doing videos like this? Should they try and push through it and just learn and, start dipping their toes in the water, or maybe do a course or something like that? Or should they focus on something that they feel is going to work better for them, or, that they're going to be more comfortable with, but might give them fewer subscribers?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think what I would do if I was talking to someone and they asked me that, I would want to dig a bit deeper into why they weren't comfortable with video and what was behind that, because I think some people actually have a lot of potential to be great on video, but they've got some mindset or some fear stuff holding them back. The first thing I would say is, if you kind of feel like tempted about video, but there's a few obstacles there, jump in someone like Deborah Rock Evans' Facebook group. I think she's renamed it Get Yourself Out There, and that is a really supportive group for practicing on video and going on Facebook Live and expanding your reach using video. But so that would be the first thing, because yes, you're right, it is really hot right now, and you can expand your reach hugely using Facebook Live. But yeah, if you hate it, then you've got to dig into, well, is that because I'm just scared about doing it, and I could actually start to enjoy it if I gave it a go and overcame that stuff? Because the other thing is, it can be a great way to force you to start talking about your business. I think that is invaluable. That the fact that you have to get yourself on a camera, even if you're not doing it live, even if you're just pretending or practicing at home, you're having to speak about what your business is, and you're having to put yourself out there, and that is a massive confidence builder. And I think it also makes your business real. It's about you taking your own business seriously, and then when you're ready, you can put it out there to the wider universe as well. So I think it's about digging deeper into why.
Yeah, just so you guys know who are watching this and thinking, well, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not quite sure how to get that confidence. For me, when I started the We Network and I knew that I wanted to start doing some Facebook Lives, I started by doing recorded videos first. But I've got a Mac, and I used Photo Booth, and I used to just sit there, and I've never used a transcriber or a teleprompter or anything like that. But I'd sit there. Sometimes I would practice. I'd record myself and practice it 17 or 18 times, literally, before I was happy with the recording or didn't make a mistake halfway through. I've got so many recordings on my laptop of me going blah, 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 like that, and then just stopping and restarting and going over and over again. And what I found with that is that you tend to get that very beginning bit, because you repeat yourself over and over again. You really start nailing that intro bit. And if you can be confident in your intro bit, and practice that quite a lot, then you tend to find that you feel good going into it, and the rest of it kind of flows without any problem. So I think it's just practice, and you're watching yourself back and just thinking it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And you'll find that you have got a lot more to say than perhaps you might think about to start with. Because sometimes I find it's just hard to shut myself up like now.
Yeah, and if you've got some points in your head beforehand, it's a little bit like presenting or public speaking. You want to have an intro. If you could do a really great, useful Facebook Live that's an intro, 3 key tips, and then some kind of a call to action or a challenge to the people watching the video, or some questions or whatever. That's all it has to be. Don't overcomplicate it. If you can stay on, online a bit longer, that's great, because more people will pick up that you're live. But just for now, just start doing short videos that actually offer some real value. 3 quick tips, boom, and you've done it. You've done your first live, and you can keep building it into your strategy. But if you really hate it, if you just don't want to be doing it, don't do it. Because I remember when we interviewed Milana Lashinsky, I think that's correct. She's an incredibly successful online entrepreneur, and she cracks me up because she's just like, I hate going to networking events. I hate going to she just hates, face-to-face networking. She's a little bit of she's quite an introvert, and she has built an entire empire around her passive income, products and her online marketing. So she's someone that you interview, and she says, look, you don't have to do it. You can do it if you enjoy it, but you don't have to. And I would say, it all depends on your personality type, and sometimes maybe a mix of those things is good. But if if going to live events drains the hell out of you, if doing Facebook videos, you hate it, but you love to write, do your writing. Do guest blogging, find the way that works for your particular skill or strength. Yeah,
and also something that I think, coming back to mindset again, that's something that I've learned recently with things for me that in my business and in my business journey, I've learned I read a childcare article the other day, and I've been sharing this quite a lot recently because it was really powerful, and I keep coming back to it in my day-to-day life. The article was saying, when you've got young children and they get to that point where they start saying, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not very good at this, and a lot of the time as a parent, your first reaction is to say, yes, you can do it, keep trying, da, 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 da. But the problem is that is just what the child hears is you just saying, I'm not listening to you because I've just told you that I can't do it, and or you're not listening to me, sorry, and that gets them frustrated, and then obviously things can go downhill from there. But I was talking about this magic word, which is quite powerful, and that magic word is yet. You're not good at it.
Yeah, yes. I think I saw that. You shared it. It was brilliant. Yeah.
I was like, okay, I've got to write a blog post about this because that's so relevant to business as well. Like for years, I've been saying to myself in my head, I'm a big picture person. I'm just not good at the details, and the financial side of it is just not my thing. But now I've flipped a switch with that, and I've started saying to myself, well, I'm not good with the financial, strategic and planning stuff yet. But what do I need to do to make myself better at that? And it just gives me that opportunity to recognize the fact that I'm not good at some things, but then I've got the opportunity, if I kind of secretly want to get better at that thing, but I've just been pushing it away by giving myself that excuse of saying, well, it's just not my thing. If I want to grow and keep getting better and keep getting stronger as an entrepreneur, I really want to overcome these things. So now I just say to myself, well, I'm not good at that yet, and what can I do to fix it? And so, I've reached out recently, and now I am getting some coaching. So really looking forward to having some coaching around the financial side of my business with Stephanie Crawford, who's within our community and really, really lovely, and obviously better than me. So bringing on people who are better than me to, help me improve those things. So that was a really powerful thing that I think has really helped me on my journey recently. So it's just proof that you're just always growing as an entrepreneur, aren't you?
And as a person, like the entrepreneurial journey will be the biggest, it forces you to take some of the biggest leaps that you would take, because you have to take risks, you have to get outside of your comfort zone. And, the more and more we learn about the brains, the more we realize how healthy that is for us to do that as we grow older. I'm just reading this amazing book full of this new brain research showing about the plasticity of our brains, and that we used to think that those, the brain didn't shift, it didn't change, it was sort of set, different things in different areas. But what they've learned is that it changes. And so you can, by practicing a language or by learning a new skill like video marketing, you are actually really firing up the neurons in your brain, and you are keeping yourself healthy and well. So there's lots of reasons to get out of your comfort zone. I'm definitely not saying actually stay in your comfort zone. I think you do have to push your boundaries and see what it is that's stopping you and that's holding you back, and that is what gives you the learning. That is how you start to grow more and more as a person and learn more about yourself, and that helps you be a better parent as well. I think to be role modeling that for our kids and showing them, well, sometimes I can't do things either. The thing for me at the moment is building stuff, like practical stuff. I've had exactly the same thing all my life. I'm not very good at practical stuff, so I've definitely put a yet in that, and I'm trying my hardest to make stuff. It's the same stuff. It applies to business as well.
Yeah. And so when it comes to business, with Get It Done Mum, you have worked with a load of women in business, and they're often at a similar sort of point. But I wanted to ask you, what's the sort of most common mistake that you see women in business making, in that stage of their journey when they're still a solopreneur and they haven't got a lot of support around them?
I think probably the biggest mistake is thinking that their business isn't working because it's something to do with their product or their service or their offer, but really they don't realise that it's just that no one knows about them yet, and that they don't have an audience, they don't have anyone to show their product to. And that's probably, I've done, like you say, many, we call them clarity chats. I've been doing those for years now, and they're these quick 15-minute, 20-minute chats, and that just comes up again and again with mums in the startup phase, and I'm telling them, look, your product or your service or idea looks like it has potential, but you don't know until you start testing it. To test it, you need an audience. So you need to get a strategy in place first. What is this business about? What's your vision for it? And then how are you going to build an audience of your target client? Who is your target client? How are you going to build an audience of them so that you can start testing and validating that idea? And what we tend to do is the other way around, time and time again. I'm meeting with mums where they've decided that they've got a great product or service, and this is exactly what we did, so I'm in no way judging. It's like, I've got this great idea, here you go, who wants to come and buy it? When really we need to flip it on its head, and that's what we've learned in the last few years. It's actually, I love this idea of co-creating your products and services with your tribe, with your audience. So you want to be starting to build your email list as soon as possible and building relationships, just like you did with We, Rachel. You did it exactly the right way around this time. You built the audience first. You validated that there was a demand there for what you're offering. You did a soft launch. You tested your idea with that first opening up the memberships for We, and then you've sort of iterated it. You've kept improving it, and you're building on it as you go. But your community is completely engaged with it. They're right there. They're telling you what they want, and it takes away so much of the doubt and uncertainty, because you've got people actually saying, no, Rach, do it this way, or, oh, here's a good idea, Rach. And if you've got a question, you just go and ask them. You're not sitting at home going, I don't know whether to do this or to do that, or, So that's probably the biggest one that I see. And I just see mums that they just don't really know what they're doing yet, which is normal. And everybody does it, and they need to invest in some kind of help and support or learning just to get themselves on the right track, so that 2 years from now, they're not in the same place. That's what breaks my heart the most, is when I get on the phone with someone and I'm like thinking in my head, God, I wish I'd just had the chance to have this 15-minute chat with you 2 years earlier. And that's what our latest program is all about, as you know, is really working with starter mums. We've made it affordable so that we can get our hands on them at that stage. That's what our goal is with it.
Yeah. And just on that, coming back to that note of what I've done with We, one of the big learnings that I've had is that you just have to get over that fear of getting feedback. And it's hard asking for feedback on a product that you have kind of built and created, and you know that there are some people who are raving fans, but you also know that there are some people who it's not working for, and some people, it's a given that when you sell a product or service, not every single person is going to be happy with it, and it's very, very easy to dig your head in the sand and just think, we're not going to focus on those people, I'm going to focus on the ones who love it, and I'm going to listen to them. But what I've found is that some of the greatest learning that you can have is from the people who aren't happy, and because often people who love you and think that you're doing a great thing might buy your product, and then me, they'll come to me with stuff that I was hoping for from it, and I'm never going to know that unless people are telling me. So I try and ask a lot for feedback, and sometimes I get it, and sometimes it's a bit of a knock to the heart, because it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, I thought I was delivering that, but maybe I'm not. And then you just have to get over it and push yourself forward and think, okay, I'm accepting this with a loving heart, and I'm going to figure out a way to move forward using this information, and I'm going to pull the others and if the others are telling me the same thing, then awesome. Thank you so much for telling me that. Because sometimes it hasn't even been in my head that might be a problem, and sometimes it has, but I just haven't actioned it for whatever reason. So just be open to feedback and ask, and don't get precious about your product, because the worst thing that you can do is be so tied to your product that you're not prepared to change it based on what people want.
Yeah, and Danny Annie is one of the mentors we've really admired over the years. He calls it, you've got to be prepared to pivot. You've got to be prepared to pivot all the time in your business. And I think if someone tells you that in the early days, before you've got so attached to your product, it makes life a heck of a lot easier. If you can actually let go of being so certain about what your product or service is. And I'm often telling people to let go of getting their websites up. It's like you don't even know what you're doing yet. Why are you spending thousands of dollars and hours of your time on a website? Focus on these core things first and then come back to the website. And it's the same with your product or service. If you can just you might have ideas about where you're going, and that's absolutely great. You want to capture those, and you can use those ideas, to test them with your tribe. But be prepared to pivot, and that will give you that flexibility. It's also less stressful. But also when you're talking there, Rach, that fear of putting your product or your service out there, and that fear of what you're going to get back. There's a great acronym we used to use at Full On, which was a training program Joe and I used to teach at, and it's FEAR, and the acronym is false expectations about risk. Fear is false expectations about risk. So what is going to happen if you put your idea out there for feedback? The absolute worst thing that could happen is that someone is going to give you really bad feedback on your idea and say, look, that's a crap idea. I don't like it at all. And then what? Then what happens? The world doesn't end. You might have a bit of a downer, but then there's a massive opportunity. Like you were just saying, there's a massive opportunity to say, okay, that's not going to work for some people. Do other people feel the same way? Oh my God, that won't work. But so-and-so suggested this. That's genius. That's much better than what I originally thought of. Yeah. And that is a massive opportunity.
Yeah, and I think it's often about how you phrase it as well as a communicator, because for me, if I say to people, if I'm open to feedback, please tell me what's not working for you and how you think we can possibly improve it, then you're getting those. For me, the worst case scenario is someone coming to me and saying, I'm not happy with the product that I bought from you. And sometimes you're not going, sometimes it's just a real mismatch, and it's better to just kind of say, okay, well, look, I think that this isn't quite the right fit. So, I'll give a refund or whatever it is that you decide to do in that sort of circumstance. But other times you're like, okay, no, they are my target market. And this is actually quite upsetting because I thought that I was delivering that and I'm not. But then you can just go back to them, and as long as you're kind of quick to come back to them and just say, look, that's really bad news for me. I'm really, really keen to overcome this. I understand if you don't want to keep going with it, but if you could give me some feedback about how we might improve it or what you were expecting, that would be amazing. And I've got some really, really positive feedback on how to move forward with my business from doing things like that.
I think it's also okay to ask your community and just say, hey, this is something I've put particularly quite a bit of my heart and soul into, so please be gentle. I want your feedback. Please give me constructive feedback, but just remember, this is close to my heart, so please be gentle. And you're not always going to need to do that, but if you're sharing something that's making you feel quite vulnerable, I think it's useful to let people know that, because people will respond.
Yeah. And so if you are at that stage where you have launched your business, you've got your website up, and you're trying to build your audience, one of the things that I love about what you do, Janine, is how you focus so much on your community and your program with quality over quantity. So can you tell us a little bit about your sort of strategy or thoughts around that?
So I guess what we get our clients to do is we get them to set 2 really clear targets, and then what we usually do is have 2 to 3 strategies underneath each of those targets. So target 1, which is often, usually around income generation, and then we have another target around audience building. And then it's like, what are your 2 or 3 simple low-cost strategies to hit those 2 targets? And then we really challenge the heck out of them to let go of a whole lot of other stuff and to be regularly checking in with those targets just to say, am I on track with this, or have I just spent 2 days working on my website when it's not actually going to get me closer to generating my income this month or building my audience? It's just about having that clarity and focus and being okay about letting go of the rest. We also did a coaching call the other day. I've really kind of, I think, been evolving my ideas about what's possible as a mum building a business part-time. And I think what I've noticed is a lot of mums are coming into our programs as starters, and they're like, I just don't have enough time, and I'm feeling terrible, and I'm being I feel like I'm a terrible mum, as well as I'm not getting anything done in the business, and their expectations of themselves are huge. And it's about also remembering, like, particularly if you're a mum with children under 5, I think I see this all the time, these mums with children under 5 at home, their kids aren't necessarily in daycare, or they might just be in daycare, very part-time, and they're kind of expecting themselves to be being able to achieve as much as some of these other women entrepreneurs that they're seeing online, without understanding the backstory to those women's story. Because we've interviewed so many people, we get to see, how many years it takes women to build this up. A lot of women will get there faster if their children are in daycare, longer hours, or their children are at school age, or have even left school, So I'm seeing a really common theme of these women really being really hard on themselves. And so I guess that's one message I'd like to talk with. We're talking about overwhelm. It's just that try to be, I hate this word, be realistic, but I think when it comes to being a mum with young children, you have to be realistic about what's important to you. And if your health is important to you, and your family is important to you, and your business is important to you, you have to figure out the priorities of those three, and accept that at times your business is going to have to take a back seat. And that's the approach that we've taken over the years. That's what's worked for us, because we were definitely working our businesses alongside having the children at home. And so we compromised on income, or we compromised on building our business faster. We could have been paying ourselves more earlier if we had worked more, or if we hadn't spent so much on building our team, so that we didn't, we had someone else to do the work for us. So when you talked earlier, when you introduced me and talked about a sustainable business model, that's what we've been doing from the beginning, is really setting it up so that it's leveraged and scalable, to grow into the future without us having to work, 30, 40, 50 hours a week.
And the reality is, and this is what I've learned over the years, like, you have to be prepared to make sacrifices as an entrepreneur and a business owner and as a mum. And in the early years for me, when I started Kiwi, the sacrifice was time, because I was only 22, and so I was just pounding it out, putting loads of time into evenings, weekends, all that kind of thing into the business. And now my sacrifice is the business. Because I don't want to put my weekends into that. I don't want to put my evenings into it. I've got very strict rules and boundaries from my family about what I can do on the weekends and evenings. So I've adjusted my income targets around that. And that kind of, when you make it okay to stop saying to yourself, well, I want to make $1 million in 2 years or whatever, and you just think, actually, hang on, no, I want to make $50,000, or I want to make and my first target's going to be $100,000 profit. Then you can start building those strategies around that, thinking, okay, well, I'm going to have this many hours per week. Well, these are the things that I want to achieve in year one, and it just becomes a little bit more, or a little bit less overwhelming, because you're being a bit more realistic with yourself, and it helps you to pull back that focus on doing one thing at a time and setting those strong foundations up in your business. And we've just had a question through, Bob. I'd love to know how to use contacts, friends, past colleagues, and family to ask for referrals. It feels so naff saying, please refer me, help, please, I run a consultancy service. And that's from Amanda.
Okay, hi Amanda, and hi Bex. I just saw your comment there about the homeschooling. Yes, it is a juggle, and I think that comes back to your why, about why you're doing a business, but we might talk about that in a bit. But Amanda's question around asking, I guess that comes back to what they'd call your elevator spiel, but I think for me it's really about just engaging people with your why. Actually, these two answers are both connected. When you're talking with people about what you do, it's really important, I believe, that you can talk from the heart about your why, and that you can kind of engage someone in a discussion about that and get them talking. So rather than feeling like you have to be talking, they might ask you what you do, and it might become a conversation where in the end you're actually getting them talking more, and then you find out more about them, and then you can see a fit, a match up for how that might, there might be a connection there for the two of you. So that's what I do. I just talk to people and I just listen, and then I might see an opportunity where it's, hey, they've just mentioned that their sister runs a business, or they've just mentioned that they've been thinking about leaving their job and they're thinking about business, but they're not sure, and all of a sudden there's an opportunity. So for me, I think it's about letting go of that need to, this is an opportunity to, make a lead, and more of a, how can I potentially help this person? Listening, and then coming up with a way that you can maybe support them in some way. And if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not.
And also not all of your family, friends, colleagues and everything are even going to care or be interested. So I think you have to let go of the fact that every single one of those personal contacts is someone that can talk about your business. But for me, what I would try and do is engage those people who kind of have shared values with me and care about those things as well. And one thing that I've learned, for example, an example of this is on my personal Facebook page. I've tested a couple of things with my personal network to see what resonates with them, because I know I've got a lot of New Zealand friends who would know other women in business. So it's important to me that they all know what I'm doing. And I remember once a wee while ago, I kind of dropped a link in there saying, if you know any New Zealand women in business, please let them know about what I'm doing because it might help them. And it got zero kind of response, or really minimal response. But then the other day I popped a post up just saying, celebrate a win. I don't normally put posts like this on my Facebook page, but I'm super excited because this is, if you're a business owner, you'll get this. And I told them about how last week was a really amazing week for me in business, and I relaunched the Members Club, and I had so many people sign up in just a few hours. Like, it was crazy. And I had such an incredible response because all of my friends who are in business or have tried to start a business were like, wow, I get that, I understand it, and that's kind of more of a values-based post. So if you can go in with your personal community and talk about those values of yours and the things that really matter in your heart, I call it start from the heart, and talk about your values and, as Janine said, your why, then that will connect with the people who are going to matter, because those are the people that will be out there talking to other people about your business and what you're doing. And that's almost the more powerful thing, is the flow on word of mouth than just telling that one person.
The other thing you can do is also structure your business so it's not so reliant on networking and referrals. Like, you want to have an ongoing stream of leads coming into your business from a variety of places. And I think that's the downfall of the consultancy model. And that's what we work a lot with. You know, with mums that come to us at the next level of business, they're actually probably making quite good money. But what they've done is they've hit that time ceiling, and they're like, actually, I've got this successful consultancy, but, you know, I'm having to work 30, 40 hours a week, really hard out, or maybe more, and I don't know where to go with my business model. And they hadn't thought about the business model at the beginning. So they're in that one-to-one business model. They've hit that income or time ceiling, and they're like, what else can I do here? How do I move towards a more leveraged and more scalable business? And that's about, again, building an audience, thinking outside the square about your business model and how you could introduce some products and services that aren't so reliant on your one-to-one time. And also, you know, and that means that you're bringing in leads, different kinds of leads, and those would be probably using online marketing tools. So that's much more automated, it's much more systematized, so it's much better smart use of your time. And also it kind of evens out those peaks and troughs that you tend to get in consultancy, where you're like really busy and then all of a sudden you're quiet and you've got to scramble to get leads, and then you're busy again and then you're quiet, you know. So it's all about, you know, I think it was Amanda, wasn't it, having a really great strategy behind what you're doing. Yeah, awesome. And so, Janine, just so that people know, if they want to connect with you and find out more about your Get It Done Mum program that you have for women in business, what I love about this program, you guys, is that you know, you get a lot of those online courses that are sort of sign up for, I don't know, 1 month to 3 months or something like that, and you've got to work through it on your own. And you know what I've found with courses over the years is that some of them are so packed with value, but at the end of the day, it is up to you how much you utilize that. And I've signed up for courses before and then actually never touched them, like never gone back in there. Relevant for me right now, and I'll think, well, I'll just go back to that in time when it is relevant. And usually I do go into them. But when you sign up for these courses, it's often kind of like up to you to get it done. But with your pilot program, what I love is it's more like, to me, I kind of look at it as more like having a business partner or business mentor by your side as you're going along, because it's a 12-month program. And it's really kind of investing in the partnership with you guys to overcome some of those fears and really come to grasps with what the key, what's working well in your business right now, but then also what are the problems that are holding you back that you can overcome with a bit of support. Yeah, I think what this program is it's a culmination of everything we've learned over the last 6 or 7 years that we've done separately. You know, we've met a need, like it might have been, we started running this audience building club and we were running these great masterclasses for audience building because we saw that need. And then we had a strategy e-course because we saw the need that mums didn't have strategy. And then I started working more with masterminders and VIP clients on, well, how do I convert my audience to clients? How do I have those sales conversations? How do I write that sales copy, that kind of stuff? And it was like, hold on a minute. we need to, but how can we pull this all together in something that's affordable for mums in the starters phase? Because a lot of that stuff we were teaching, you know, at mastermind or VIP level, which is, you know, quite a high level of investment and probably for more established business owners, but we really wanted to help. We wanted to get mums at that starter phase that I was talking about, you know, before they've gone too far down the track. So what we've done is we've pulled it into a year-long program, and it's all delivered through a membership site. And so the focuses are 1, strategy, 2, audience building, 3, validating your idea and converting your audience to clients. And it just sounds really simple, right? And of course, it's not that simple. There's lots of stuff you have to work through to get there. But it actually is, in terms of strategy and a step-by-step process, it is that simple. You know, if you do those things, you will create a product and a business that's going to be profitable and that sells. So that's what I'm so excited about. It's like we've pulled together all those really great resources. So I think the best step for anyone who's listening who wants to come and check out what we do is we've got this free training on tomorrow. It's called Kick Stress and Worry to the Curb and Build a Thriving Business. And it is aimed at mums in those early years of their business. So you might just have an idea and you're feeling a bit lost about where the heck to go with it. Or you might have been in business a year or even 2 years, but you're just not getting the traction that you wanted. It's not working out how you thought. And that we're going to get you to come back to your strategy. We're going to get you to come back to those core things, building that audience, validating your ideas, and then, you know, getting products and services in place that do sell. So we talk about that on the training tomorrow, but we also share heaps of free tips in there. So, yeah, we're going to chuck a link in the chat room to that training, I think, aren't we, Rach?
Yeah, I think I've tried to. I'm not sure whether it's showing up or not, but I'll check and then I'll put it in the comments afterwards. Yeah, but what I really love, Janine, and I know I've had this, we've sort of tossed and turned over this over the last year since I started thinking about starting the We Network. Because we're kind of in the same space now with the We Network and you having the pilot course, and we've kind of been like, hang on, are we competitors, or can we work together? How is this going to actually work? And we've kind of had the communication going. But the thing is, we're both so seriously passionate about helping women in that beginner phase, because what I find is that there's so many women that fail in business, and for me, I think, why are we encouraging women to start businesses if we're not then empowering them to become successful in those early started stages by giving them the money that they need to get off the ground and giving them the training that they need? And for some reason, New Zealand women, or just generally women, often don't access the resources that they need. And I kind of look at what Get It Done Mum is doing as being that next level of support than what I offer with the We community. Like, I feel like the We Network and the VIP Members Club is that first foot on the ladder of getting some additional support and accountability with your business, and then your pilot program is a bit more intensive and gets you to work a little bit harder and be a bit more focused and really being accountable for your own business journey and getting that great foundation in place in the beginning. So it's really amazing to be on this journey with you as sisters, and both working in a space that we're really, really passionate about, and feel like we can make a difference in. I guess it's really, really amazing. And actually, as Abby's just said, I was going to actually say that you're getting such amazing feedback for this pilot program, and even just today someone messaged Janine to say that it's been life-changing for her, and Abby's just put in here, the pilot course has changed my life. So it's awesome. So cool. I think, Rach, just to butt in for a second, I think the other part of it that I didn't mention is that it is a 12-month program. We've said, in the past we've done 3 months, we've done 6 months. This time we've said, bugger that. We want to get to work with our mums for 12 months. We want them to be forming a relationship with us as their coaches, but we also want them to be forming a relationship with the other women that are going through the program in their cohort, you know, so that you're surrounded for a year with that support and encouragement, and people get to know each other's businesses, and you can start to see that happening. And that's such a buzz, you know, when people are starting to give each other feedback. Like in the group the other day, someone gave some fantastic advice. I think it was, I can't remember if it was Abby or Kylie maybe, gave some fantastic advice. And I was like, this is so cool. It's like when the coach can step out because the students have learned, the mums, you know, the women in the group have learned and taken on, because they've just done that module in the e-course, and then they're in there coaching the other mums, and it's so exciting. So, and we're so excited about the price point. You know, we charge $67 a month. That's ridiculously cheap for what we're offering. It's a whole year's of coaching and support, you know. So we're just passionate and excited about being able to do that.
for mums. And in the past, I think we fell into that trap of listening to other coaches and other who had said, you know, you've got to charge more. And we do teach this ourselves, you know, in the early days, go for that higher paid for product so you can bring cash flow into your business and you can start investing back in your business. And we have done that by running our masterminds and our VIPs, which we charge a lot more for. But now we're just so excited and ready to be able to, because I think we've always been coming back to, but we want to help these mums too. We want to help these mums. And now we can. So it's really exciting. And thanks for the feedback, Abby. It's really cool.
Awesome. Well, on that note, thank you so much for coming along today, Janine, and good luck with the webinar tomorrow. If you are feeling like you are a little bit overwhelmed and need a bit more focus in your business, and that's going to be a great webinar to listen on to. Anyone that has done one of Janine's free trainings online will know that they offer a lot of practical tips and amazing advice in those webinars. So it's really worth jumping on board to go and watch on that. Regardless of whether you think you might be keen on the pilot program or not, you will learn something from this. And yeah, really, really good space to be in. So thank you so much for coming on board. And yeah, we hope to see some of you guys at the webinar tomorrow. And good luck with your businesses in the second half of 2017. If you haven't signed up to the VIP Members Club yet, head on over and sign up there, because we are going to be doing, actually Janine is going to be helping me with our 6-month review and planning session. So if you feel like you need to get a little bit on board with the second half of 2017 and start getting a proper plan in place, then you can come along to that as well, and we can help you start feeling like you're getting your head around things and a little bit more planned for the year ahead. So thanks so much, Janine, for coming along, and we wish you all the best for the success of the ongoing success of the pilot program and the rest of the year in 2017.
Awesome. Thanks, Rach, and right back at you. And hi, Kylie. Thank you.
Bye,
Great to see some of our mums in there. Bye, guys.